While the spirit of spring 1973 saturated the atmosphere at the spring 1993 collection, one designer managed to make the retro look new. Thanks to Michael Kors, the crocheted vests, hipster pants, and pallid makeup started to look bearable. Kors's pared-down, simple show held at the New York Public Library had fashion editors cheering. The 70s may be fresh for people in their 20s, but for many of the editors themselves, it's a decade they'd rather forget.
I think that the good things we remember from the 70s, which I think really, it was the fluidity and the ease of it, and sort of the kind of romance that wasn't, overly sweet. Then I think there's a hard-edged, very ugly 70s. Somehow, to me, let's take the romance of it and interpret it, in today's manner, which I think is more eclectic than it was then, and find a way that someone who's over 20 would look at the clothes and say, okay, I can see myself in that. I mean, I think that, to sort of go to extremes and look like you're in a costume party dressed in a specific era is nothing that appeals to me. But I think that whole romance, and quote the word groovy, I think we are going into times where, people want to look a little bit hipper, a little less uptight, so groovy maybe is the word. But how can groovy exist to me without staying sophisticated? Because no matter what, sophisticated, has to stay there.
If you want to set the right mood with a collection, it helps if you pick the right music. At Kors, there were no grunge rock sounds in the air, just 90s artists like U2, and a few 70s tracks by The Doors and Eric Clapton to capture the spirit of the clothes.
Grunge, is not, the word alone, to me is the last thing that I think is really relevant for my customers. I think that, it's great on a young girl, but I don't know about a 35-year-old woman who's, juggling a child and a career and traveling. So I think for her, it's really more, it is about Eric Clapton than grunge, per se. Everyone's talked about what the 90s were going to bring, and now I think the 90s are finally here. Even doing my description on my sheet at the show, I just said, it's much simpler. It's a simpler, easier, less contrived. And that has to do with everything from the way we describe a show, to the clothes themselves, to the music, to the kind of makeup you wear.
But big, beautiful hair.
Big, beautiful hair. To me, it's like the American sort of ideal, especially for hot weather. It's just a big, loose head of hair that, shakes and moves. And, and a suntan and a pair of sandals, and you're ready to go.
In New York fashion file, I'm Tim Blanks, contributing editor of Toronto Life Fashion magazine. Darling, won't you leave my room at night?